I feel like kind of out of it, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I don't know if this was gonna ditch between this today, because I'm just gonna like, it's a good book. Like, totally. The end. And you're hungover, like we're a pair. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly, this is my friend Georgia, and we are here to do another Bestie Book Talk video. Today we are talking about Stephanie Garber's Caraval. And we both loved this one, yay! Coming off of our last one that we did, where we both absolutely hated the book. We loved this one. Like, I gave it a 5 out of 5, easy.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Or 1,000,000 stars. It was awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was maybe just because we read that other book and we both hated it so much that we were just like so excited when we started reading something actually good that it would just like fueled it. And I was like, I'm in love with this book. It's the best book ever. I don't know, but I really enjoyed it.
I was just happy to be reading anything other than that shit book we read last time. So, no, I really liked it.
Yeah. So we just want to go ahead and warn everyone that if you have not read this book, please do not watch this video. It is going to be completely spoilery. We're going to be talking in depth about the plot, characters, everything that happens in the book. So we really want you to read this one. So please go ahead and read it and then come back and watch this video and have a discussion with us in the comments. And yeah.
Spoilery a word?
I don't think so. It is because I say it.
It is now.
I made it up. I don't know, like spoiler free. So what would be the opposite of spoiler free? Filled with spoilers. It has spoilers. Don't watch it if you haven't read this. Is what I'm trying to say. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. Yeah.
And now, on to the review. So, first of all, I want to talk about our character, Scarlett. I was really annoyed by her in the beginning. I don't know if you were. But
she was a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, and she was just like, and I mean, now that I've read the book and I realize like that's all part of her character development, is that she kind of like comes out of that. But in the beginning, when she's just so fearful of absolutely everything, and I mean, like
her life experiences have taught her to be fearful. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, so it is expected, but it's like to the point in the book where you kind of start to get annoyed with her a little bit, like when they first go into Caraval and she wants to go back and tell the admissioner, the person that admits you into Caraval, when she wants to go back and tell her that they lied and that he's not actually her fiance. Remember that part? So they get into with their tickets because one is supposed to be for her and one is supposed to be for her fiance.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Julian lies and says that he's her fiance, and then they get in, and then she's like, we have to go back and tell the truth. And I was like, oh, for God's sakes. Like, come on. Like, this is too much.
Like, this is the type of girl that never skipped a class in high school, you know, and that she was like, if I'm 5 seconds late, oh, the whole world's going to fall apart.
Yeah. Like, it was just like she was to that extent, like, so afraid, like, always having to do the right thing and so scared of deviating from what she should be doing that they got in, you know, like they had to kind of lie to get him in there, and then she immediately wanted to go back and tell the truth. And I mean, I don't know why she would do that. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, to me, I'm thinking, like, whatever, it's not that big a deal.
You already ran away from your family.
Yeah.
You already stole a boat, escaped with some dude. He's, at that point, too, they were in the water, and he had to cut her dress off so that she wouldn't drown. So, I mean, you're already impure because he touched you, your slip or something, but yeah.
So we really see her character develop like quite a bit until the end of the book. Like at the end of the book when she like tells her father off, I'm like, yes! Like I wanted that from her so much throughout the book. I'm glad that she finally got there and definitely has this is a really good character driven story, as well as plot, of course, but you definitely see the character arc of people. And even with Julian, like he changes a lot as well. And I mean, part of that is that we don't really know who he is throughout the book.
Yeah.
But
that's the fun of these books, is that Stephanie here left you open to questions. It's like when you watch a movie and you're like, yep, bad guy's gonna pop out here, this guy's gonna get shot, blah, blah, blah. You know what's gonna happen. You don't have a clue. There's so many twists and turns that it's so fun to think about those things, and that's with the character development too, right? That you don't know how they're gonna turn out in the building of it. Yeah.
Oh, and even her sister too, like throughout the book, I'm like so annoyed at her sister. I'm like, her sister's a freaking brat. Why does she care about her so much? Like, I'd be like, screw you. Like, I don't have a sister, so maybe that's not how I would be in real life. But I just feel like, you know, like she was just like so inconsiderate. And then, I mean, at the end, when you find out what actually happened, you understand it completely. But during this thing, I'm like, why is she so, like, her sister doesn't give a crap about her. Why is she willing to go through all this stuff to help her sister, and her sister does not care about her at all? So you kind of feel bad for her in that way. Like, she's just, like, chasing her sister and just, like, so worried about what happens to her, and her sister doesn't care. Then at the end, you find out that that was all kind of a part of the plan. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
I finished reading the second book, so now I'm a little scared about revealing some information to you about it.
Yeah, because I haven't read it yet. I placed an order for it, but I haven't read the second one yet.
I read this book in like 4 days.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And then I dialed it back on the second one because I was like, savor it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and because I get myself into these situations all the time where I make Georgia read the book first because I think I'm such a fantastic reader and I'm like going to be done way ahead of her. And like the first one was it? The first one I was?
The Hazelwood? No, same one.
You've done that right in the beginning. You read it first and then I started.
That's because you asked me to finish it and it took me forever because I'm lazy.
Yeah. But then the last couple times I've gotten myself into a situation where she's been done the book and then I've been scrambling to read it like before I came here. So I read this in 2 days and I'm kind of upset at myself that I did that because I really like had to rush myself through it. And this was a book that I really would have liked to like take my time with because it was so good and I was sad when it was so
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like it's the details and like I already pre-ordered the third book that doesn't come out until May. But I know I'm going to go back and read the first and second ones before they come out slowly so that because there's so many little details. And then reading the second book, again, I'm not going to say anything about that one, but you kind of think back to the first book and go, oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to get the second one because... Like, well, see, and now I want to ask you questions.
Nope, I ain't telling you nothing.
But it's just like in this, like once you find out that the second book is going to be about them finding their mom, like it just kind of, that whole thing kind of opens up and you're like, where, did she get kidnapped or did she want to go to Caraval or like what happened there? Because all of a sudden, in the beginning, you find out that their mom ran away and that's when their dad turned crazy. And that's another thing I don't understand is I don't understand why her dad was like such a good dad to begin with, and then all of a sudden their mom runs away and he turns into like so abusive because they said he was never abusive before.
No, but he had a temper.
Yeah.
And then he got rid of all of Mom's stuff, destroyed everything because all she had left were a couple little trinkety things. Right? The
earrings.
Yeah. Of her mom's because that's what she could salvage from what her dad had destroyed.
Right.
So I mean, well, think about if your spouse just fucking took off.
Well, I wouldn't beat my kids. I mean, I might be a little bit more grouchier than usual, yes, but I wouldn't
snappy, right?
You know, torture my children.
If he already had like a kind of that mentality, and based on what they said about him, he's like the lord or whatever of their county, and he seems like he's like a soprano. He does hits and he kills people. So I think turning to violence on his family wasn't a real stretch. Yeah. Because didn't he murder that boy in the water? Yeah, he did. For kissing one of the girls?
Like, that part was, that was just weird. Like, just why is he like that? Yeah. But I mean, I guess it's hard to reason with people that are actually like that. Like I said, I'm like, why is he like that? Like, people are nuts, I guess, that do that kind of thing in real life. Yeah. So... But yeah, what is your notes?
Okay, so I made just basic notes. So Scarlett, and just like we talked about, I loved how she grew as the book went on. She went from that timid, scared, really scared, nervous girl who had no world experience to really making her way. You know, like she was very cautious about things, but then when we first picked this book, you read the synopsis to me, and I was like, yeah, sounds cool. They're going to go to this tent in some field, and it's a circus. And then you find out that it's way more than that. Like, you're completely, once you pass those gates into the...
Caraval?
Yeah, into Caraval, you're in a whole world. Like, the game, you can just watch the game
Yeah.
inside the world and walk around and participate without being a real contestant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great because I pictured a tent, some dude with the top hat and a lion running out, right?
Like a circus?
Yeah, so when they built that world, it's so great, but like she's nervous. She's heard about this place forever, but then when they get in there, she starts taking these chances and she's exploring, even though she's still super cautious for a good reason. But then she starts to see that she can do these things on her own.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the love of her sister is what pushed her through, even though her sister's a brat, right? But I do like how she carried on. And
the thing that I really, really, really enjoyed about the book was the world building. And sometimes that can be tough in a book. Like, there's lots of times when there's world building that I'm reading it, but it's not registering, and I'm just kind of like pushing through, and I'm not really getting a clear vision of how the world is, like how she wants you to see it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just building like in my own mind. But the way she wrote it, it was kind of, you've never read The Night Circus, hey, by Erin Morgenstern. I think you would like that one. But that's kind of what, like, I gave that one about a 3.5 stars because I wanted this in that book. Like, it was just like, it's like in that one, it's kind of like it's a creepy night circus, basically, like in where weird stuff happens. It's kind of similar to this, but a different plot completely.
right.
But I just kind of wanted like that sort of feeling. That's what I wanted in that book that I got in this one. It just, I don't know, just the world building. She just makes it so easy to read and for you to like picture exactly what she's meaning. And it just was so easy. And that's really hard to do in a lot of kind of fantasy books like this.
Well, location is one of my other points on my notes. I was pleased with how the setting was explained in a, I really liked how Scarlett used colors to explain how she was feeling and experiencing, not only physically but emotionally, and I think that helped build the locations and where she was. Like that, you really just plopped in. You're there.
Yeah,
you're experiencing it. You know exactly where you're at and where you're going, and oh, it was so good.
One thing about that, like how she could see people's colors in regards to their emotion, like she could see their emotions. I kind of found, like, in the beginning, they kind of talked about that, how she could do that, and then it was almost like that fact kind of got lost until about halfway throughout the book, and then they all of a sudden started talking about that again, and, like, used it for the rest of the story, but I kind of had forgotten that in the beginning, that she could see colors, and then all of a sudden I was like, where did this come from that she could see colors? So that was the one thing that I was kind of like, it just seemed kind of conveniently placed in the beginning. Like, it didn't really...
Where did it register for you again in the book?
Because she said it straight out. She said, like, in the middle of the book, she had always seen, I think it said, like, she had always seen colors associated with people's emotions. And, like, they straight out said that exact sentence, like, in there. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. In the beginning of the book, she had mentioned how I think it was her sister or something, she could see her color. And, but then, like, you kind of forgot about that. It was such a small, minute detail that they added in the beginning that all of a sudden when it got to that part in the middle of the book, you're like, oh,
Which
right.
part are you talking about? Where she takes the potion and the whole world turns black and white except for the thing she's supposed to follow?
Yeah.
I think that's more of a just a potion thing, not... Maybe it could be, too, that she was in such a drab and disgusting world before she went to Caraval. There's so many twists and turns in the book. You almost don't know where to start, but, like... You know, she's been obsessed with going here forever, writing letters.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, why all of a sudden is she getting a letter? And then the first thing I thought of was she's old. Because you hear about these places and you're like, this can't be for kids. And she's been writing to legend for...
That's true.
You know, 10, 15 years or however long, right? And now she's an adult, however old that is. But an adult who's going to get married. And then she gets these tickets. Yeah. You know, so it makes me think that, you know, it was an adult thing, and then when you get married, it is.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
Because, like, why is she...
Well, she fantasized it a lot.
Yeah, because her grandmother used to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if you should have read the other one. I just want to ask you things.
No telling.
Like, I wonder if in the next one, if it kind of goes into more detail about maybe, like, the backstory and... with her grandma and stuff like that?
No.
Okay. Does it go into the backstory of her dad at all? Tell me.
Maybe.
I should have just continued. I should have just kept reading.
You should have.
We should have just read all of them, then just did one big discussion on all of them.
But we have to wait till May to get the other one. Let's do it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Maybe we'll do a wrap up it after May of all three and how they all go together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I think that's a good mark of an author that can put a series together that makes sense.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and you tie up some loose ends and stuff like that. So, having read the second one, it answers some questions, but you're left with a lot more questions. Yeah.
For the next one.
Yeah. Like a lot more questions.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I like in this, when you're first reading it, like you're thrown into this fantasy world and you know exactly where you're at and you've got this character who's meek and timid, but I don't know where the hell I was going with this. Oh, right. You question everything. Like, okay, she is this person, but is she?
Yeah.
You know, and then you meet this person, but who is he?
Right.
Right? Like Julian.
Yeah.
He sounded so sexy. He played his part really well. And that was the thing, is that he, like, in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, he's just a dirty sailor who's kissing her sister. And, ew. That was a different book. Well, no, that was his cousin. Remember?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what books are you reading?
No, remember? It was his...
Yeah, the last one he married his cousin.
His child cousin, yeah. No, but in the beginning, yeah, so he's just some dirty sailor that's kissing her sister.
Yeah.
And then he puts her on the boat and saves her from drowning and then gets them into the little village and stuff. Yeah. And then they get into that shop and he's trying to advise her and then he fucks off.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, he's just a scoundrel.
Yeah.
And then he's nice.
Because that's where he was supposed to leave her, right? Like in the beginning, he's supposed to leave her in that clock shop, but then he ends up hanging around waiting for her.
Because he got a thing for her.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm really interested to read the next one and kind of find out more about, like, who Julian really is. Because, I mean, you kind of, like, when I was reading it, I kind of figured that he was something different than what he said he was. Like, there was definitely, like, some clues that she left in there that showed, like, this isn't all there is to this person. But I kind of was going either way. I'm like, is he actually, like, son of a bitch? Or is he actually, like, gonna actually fall in love with her? But at the, like, kind of towards the end there, where they do that whole scene with Caraval and, like, he kind of makes it seem like he's turned on her. Like, I just knew reading that, I was like, this isn't all that there is here. Like, he's a good guy. I totally believed in him at that point, and I just, like, totally believed that there was more to the story and that he actually was falling in love with her and was just making it seem that way.
I was on the fence.
Yeah.
At that point, because it was so back and forth with him and his actions where he was loving and caring and you could tell he wanted her. And then he was a scoundrel. Just a dick. And then, at the
a scoundrel. Just a dick.
He was just a dick. And then, but like, near the end too, I was like, hey, but he's turned on us before.
Yeah.
Is he going to do this again? Is this part of the thing? Like, when they first enter the gates, and the little jester lady is giving the little spiel. Yeah. Like, that this isn't real.
Yeah.
Don't get, like, caught up in the story, which she does instantly.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the events, because it's only 5 nights, right?
Right.
Halfway through the nights, she goes, right. This isn't real.
Yeah. And kind of talks herself out of it.
But that's why I was like, just because he's from the outside doesn't mean that he's not part of all of this, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the really confusing part.
Yeah.
And then,
I think she wrote it like to make you do that, right?
Yeah.
Like she wanted you to believe that he had turned. I just had a feeling about him. I was like, no, I gotta trust this guy now. Like, for some reason, I just had this feeling. I was like, no, I think he actually, like, does have feelings for her. And it turns out I was right so far, anyways. Who knows what happens in the next book? But yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm not saying anything. You have to read it. It's so good.
Oh, and then oh my God.
But
Sister, like, I mean, you kind of forgive her sister after, you know, you find out what really happened and how she had written to Caraval and kind of orchestrated this whole thing. But throughout, like, especially once they get, once Scarlett, like, finds her and she's, like, trying to, like, tell her, like, listen, we have to go, Dad's here, like, we need to go. And her sister's, like, not believing her. Her sister's just like, they say that the game makes you crazy, and like there's like a whole like chapter where like she's trying to convince her sister, like, you have to come with me. And I'm getting so mad at her sister, and I'm like, just fucking go. Why are you listening to a man instead of your sister who actually cares about you? I was getting so mad
because she thought she was hanging out with Legend this entire time, because
Right.
the whole kidnapping thing was fake.
Yeah.
And that she was just relaxing and having a good time in his fancy little lofty thing.
Yeah.
Eating snacks and
Oh my God.
having naps, probably.
Yeah, and then she like meets this guy she wants to marry, and her sister's like, that's Legend. And she's like, no, it's not, and like will not believe her. And I was getting like so mad. I was like, this girl, just freaking leave her there. Like, who cares? Just leave her.
But that's because that makes sense from when you first meet the sister Donatella, right?
Yeah.
That she's a little shit and she wants things her way or the highway, and Scarlett takes the rap for her all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why
all she cares
like,
about is boys.
and fancy things and relaxing and stuff. So like when that happened too, I was like, okay, at what point do you just grab her by the arm and be like, we're fucking leaving.
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
See, you're nicer than me. Like, my first instinct was just like, at what point do you just be like, screw you then? Like, you've done this whole 5 nights trying to find her, and she's just like not listening to you. Like, bye.
But that was part of Donatella's gamble, right?
Yeah.
Was that her sister would win and wish her back to life.
Mm-hmm. See, she knew she had a good sister.
Yeah.
Good thing I wasn't her sister.
You'd been
like, bye.
Just fall off that balcony. Yeah, spoiler, she dies. So
yeah. But she doesn't really die. And see, and that was like when they both were dead, I was like, okay, I just knew, once again, I'm like, they're both gonna have to come back to life. They have to, because I just can't see this ending with both of them dying. But I'm like, how? How is she going to like wrap this up and make them both come back alive magically? Like, it's just too easy.
well, yeah, and I mean, I knew because she's so dedicated to saving her sister that the wish that she won was going for her sister. And then it's, and then the Julian part, I was like, I don't know.
I kind of thought, like, why wouldn't she have been able to say, I want both of them to come back alive? That's still one wish. I guess it's 2 actions, but I just assumed that that's what she was going to wish for. I just assumed she was going to be like,
loophole.
I want both my friends to come back to life, and that was going to be it. That's how I assumed it was going to end.
Oh, okay.
But then when her sister came back to life, I thought that was some sort of weird trick. Like, when her sister walks into the room, I was like, no, something's weird here. Like, I thought that's going to be too easy. Like, I thought her sister can't just be alive magically just walking back into this room. There has to be some sort of twist here. And I thought maybe that was Caraval playing with her again, and that her sister was actually dead. I thought maybe that's what was going to happen. I don't know. Like, that's just what I thought when I was reading it. And then once I finally realized that, her sister actually is alive, I just kind of was playing with my tricks with my own mind there.
See, now I can't remember which story is which one that bleeds into this, but Donatella explains that she actually does die, and Legend brings her back to life.
Right.
Whereas all of the actors for the Carnival, they can die a million times.
Right.
And they, at the end of the 5 nights, they just
Come back to life.
Yeah, back to life.
Right.
So I mean, like
was it Dante was his name?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died.
Yeah, but then he magically
Well, because he was part of the
carnival.
Yeah, he was one of the actors or one of the performers or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, so, and that's why I was like, is Julian part of, like, because he seems like he's really steering her throughout, whenever they're in Carnival and he's with her, he's like, no, like this, no, don't talk to this person, no, you shouldn't do that, and like, why don't you just tell me where the fucking clues are?
Right.
Yeah, you know everything. So I can get my sister and go meet up with my fiance, my real one, right? The one I've never met before, and then she meets him in the book.
Yeah. That was weird. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I remember that. I was going to say, how did her dad ever end up finding her?
I was just going to ask you that because I forget.
She, part of Donatella's plan was she wrote her father a note saying, you can find us here, and gave him tickets because she wanted him to come there, because she knew that once he came there, that was going to be the only way that they could get rid of him that was why this whole thing was built to begin with. So the whole reason she did this was to get him there, see her die, because she knew that once one of them died, he wouldn't be able to control the other one anymore, and he would give up and finally let them go. Mm-hmm. So that was the whole reason this whole thing happened, was that Donatella wanted to fake her own death in order to make her dad finally back off and just leave them alone, because she knew he would hunt them like to the ends of the earth
if they ran away.
Yeah. So
because he was crazy.
Yeah.
It goes to a fortune teller that has.
Oh yeah.
Tattoos?
Yeah, that has the tattoos. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's not in this book. No, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Scared me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Will you meet him again somewhere else? You know, and then all these other characters, and you're like, how? This is so neat. Not like, okay, in the Hazelwood, remember how we met all those sub-characters?
Yeah, and you never really found out what happened
No,
with them? Yeah.
with these ones, you really do.
Oh.
Yeah, like in this one, we meet the historian of Caraval. She draws those pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That is so neat, because she's drawing these pictures as life goes on.
Right.
And so that gives Scarlett those clues. Just like, okay, we got to talk about this. Okay, Julian gets her in the boat, got to cut off her dress. They're cold and disgusting. They get into a shop, any shop, and find dry, clean clothes. And she's like, bleh, boring brown dress.
Yeah.
And here it was left for her from Legend.
Right.
And then you find out that the dress is like emotionally driven.
Yeah. Like, I want to dress like that in real life.
I don't. That dress would be angry all the time.
Just be black.
So she describes her world in colors. And not just like red, blue, and purple. She uses like these fun, fancy words, like, now I forget it, but I read my copy on my Kindle, and so you can click on a word if you're like, I don't know what that means. So I learned all these new color words. I'm like, what is this? And it's like, it's blue. I'm like, blue! That's awesome! But you know, like, and then she describes how her dress changes to these different colors and different styles based on what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that's so neat. That's such a great part of how she built the story.
Yeah, and the world. Yeah, it just adds to the world building. It was just so descriptive without being overly descriptive, if that makes sense.
Yes, like that you're getting described where they're at, and it doesn't take 8 pages. It takes 2 pages.
Yeah.
And you're already picturing it.
Right. And it's not like, you know how some authors are like, this shade of green in the leaf of the tree. Like, it's just like they go into like so much detail, wanting you to get an exact picture of their world, and you're just glossing over it. You're not even giving a shit at all.
Yeah.
This was not like that. She is just like, she is such a great writer. Like, I was really impressed with her. She did an amazing job. And this is the type of book, like, if you're in a reading slump, read this, because it will immediately get you out of it.
Oh,
like,
hardcore.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's why I found out there was a second one.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I finished, I'm like, what else has she written?
Yeah.
And then I saw it. I'm like, download.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's another thing. I'm not typically like that with authors. Even if I really, really love a book of theirs, I'm not the type of person that has to read everything by a certain author, even if I really like their book. But her, I was like that. I want to read everything she's written.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of weird for me. But.
Like, this played like a movie in my head.
Yeah.
The flow was really great. There wasn't really a dead spot. You know how sometimes in a book that you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Where are we going now?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it just kept going.
Another thing, you read this on Kindle, so I don't know if yours was like this, but another thing that I loved about this book was how freaking pretty it is. Like, were your chapters like that? I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can. Whenever I'm holding stuff up, I'm like way over here, like you can't see it at all. But it's so pretty. The chapters.
Let's do it then.
It's just really pretty.
My Kindle.
That's really all.
Oh, see, in my Kindle, the letters came up in like a different font, and they were kind of snugger like this. But that's cute to see that when she gets the letters.
They're actual letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It kind of made it easier to read too, because they're all like, there's just little different touches like that in the book, like when they get letters and post-it notes and stuff. Yeah, it's like it's in there as a letter, and so it just makes you fly through it so quickly.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
like, yeah, Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. See, in the
different parts?
on the Kindle, it would just be a white page. I didn't have the artistry of it, but it would have the words right there. And you're like, oh, okay, night 2.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that I thought was so great about this is what better setting than a starry night to play your game? So they sleep during the day.
Yeah.
Go on adventures at night. Well, nothing's more mysterious than nighttime wandering around for whatever. And, okay, again, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone else, but I forget which book was this, but she have to barter her life for something? What was she bartering for again?
A different dress. Because the girl that, what the hell's her name? The girl that makes the historian of Caraval?
Yes, the picture lady.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is.
Picture lady.
But she says that she will give her the next clue if she changes her dress.
Because she's bored of drawing her in the same thing.
Yeah. And she doesn't like how that dress has a mind of its own, so she says, you buy 3 new dresses for the next 3 nights, and then I'll give you her next clue.
Right.
So she barters with her to buy 2 new dresses for the next clue, because she's only planning on staying the next 2 nights rather than 3. And she ends up accidentally paying for it with 2 days of her life.
Because they don't use money.
Right. They use you can tell somebody a secret in order to get what you want.
Which is
like that.
how she got a deal, because one of the dresses, because she got 3 dresses, didn't she?
No, I think she's only got 2.
Well, she told a truth, but the historian was like, no, that's not
true. She told the truth for the first one. Oh, yeah, okay, no. So she wanted to tell 2 truths. She had to answer 2 questions.
Yeah.
So the first question she answered, and it was fine. And then the second one, she had asked her, what's the thing you want most in life? And she said to find her sister. And it kept coming up as that wasn't the correct answer. So she tried it 3 times, and she's like, that is the correct answer. And so the girl was like, well, you can pay with 2 days of your life instead if you want. And so she was like, yeah, okay. And then immediately died.
No, she stumbled back to her apartment because they said, and I thought this was hilarious, if you pay, because apparently paying for stuff with a day of your life is normal.
Yeah.
This is a normal transaction. However, when the transaction is completed and your body just shuts off and you fall, wherever you happen to land, apparently people have been buried before. So you gotta go home and make sure you're in your own bed before and tell people like, hey, don't bury me. Yeah. I'll be back on Monday. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch into it. It just, all these little weird touches that she added just added to the world building so much. And I just fell in love with this world. I'm like, I want to go there. I wish this was real. It was like when you read the Harry Potter series, you just want to go there so bad. It was like that. You just totally get an idea of how the world is, and it's just the coolest thing ever.
If you got a letter and an invite, admit one.
Yeah, now I know about this Caraval stuff. I'm like, maybe I would just be a participant. I don't know. Maybe I would be a participant. Maybe I would be a watcher.
Well, okay, so they've been doing this. The legend has had his Carnival. Oh God, I can't say it. Did I say it?
Yeah, you said Carnival.
Okay, well, whatever. This thing.
Whenever she says Carnival, she means Caraval.
Caraval. There you go. The circus. Whatever legend puts on his circus, which is what, once a year or something like that?
Yeah, once a year, and he never goes to the same place twice.
Right. So, but it's pretty clear in this book that why was Scarlet and Donatella the focus? These clues for the game were so specific. No one else would get them unless they stumbled on them and by accident.
Yeah. And that was part of the whole thing, right? That when Donatella made this arrangement with Caraval, her sister had to be the winner, because that was why this whole thing was created in the first place, was she was basically asking for help to get her father to fuck off. Yeah. And so if somebody else would have won, it wouldn't have worked out. Well, I guess maybe it would have still worked, because if somebody else would have won, their wish would not have been to save her, obviously. It's some Joe Schmo won, he wouldn't have used his wish to save her.
Right.
And so she would have died.
She still would have died, yeah. And Scarlet would still be safe, in a sense. But that makes you think that in past games, they've all been to some plot. Now,
was it rigged in some way for all of them? Because it was totally rigged in this one, absolutely.
Well, because some of the clues are so specific. That, the first clue is the earring, right? And they tell you it's in Donatella's room. Well, everyone goes there because they can figure out I don't know if there's like a listing or something, like, hey, check out this room. But
Yeah.
no one knows what to get. They just pick up shit. Someone
Yeah.
probably has her dirty underwear,
Yeah.
you know, like, pervert.
Right.
But like, you know, Scarlett was like, the earring.
Yeah.
You know?
She knew.
And she stole it from that pregnant lady who
Yeah.
wasn't pregnant.
Yeah. Well, this pregnant lady stole it from her.
Well,
Some guy stole the earrings. I don't remember.
the earrings were stolen.
She
Gets it back. Doesn't
yeah.
she?
Yeah, she does. Julian gets it back for her. He fights that guy.
You never meet Legend.
Yeah, no, you never do end up beating him, do you?
No. Because you...
That other guy was an actor.
Yeah, you find out afterwards that every event has a different actor playing them.
Right.
And they all have a spell on them, the performers, to not reveal which one is the real one.
Right.
So he's walking around, or she, who
Yeah.
knows, is walking around in plain sight.
Right.
Like, you don't know who actually the right one is.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And like, yeah, so I was questioning the entire time.
Who is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you think it was Julian at one point? Like when she had that
several
thing? Yeah.
Several points. Because like a couple, like as soon as she thought it, I was like, okay, I was thinking it too.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. And then you meet another character and like, that has to be.
Yeah.
And then when you meet the guy that's playing Legend with Donatella, I was like, no.
Yeah.
That seems so
It's
easy.
too easy, yeah.
That can't be right. And I mean, the guy that played Legend at the end, I think, did a really good job portraying what I pictured Legend to be like.
Yeah.
Like the you know, kind of careless attitude.
Yeah.
But secretive and
Yeah.
like, yeah. Oh yeah, when she dies, she gets to dream and remember her dreams,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's so
where
cool.
where she gets the next clue from.
In her dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, well, and so that kind of, because it wasn't the next clue that Julian was Caraval, so the next clue really wasn't even really a clue then. Like, it wasn't a truth anyways. 'Cause she wakes up from that dream, and that's when she thinks that Julian is Caraval.
You mean Legend?
Yes.
I was like, I don't, was that a different book? Who is that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Legend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then that ends up, because Julian's not Legend,
No.
as far as we know in this book. Yeah. So that clue ends up, I mean, it's still a clue, it still leads her, I guess, ends up helping her find her sister, but it's not a truth.
Anyway,
Read this book.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
It's super awesome.
Yeah. Like 5 out of 5 easy. Like, so.
And then some.
Yeah.
Because it was good. Yeah.
In any case, let us know in the comments down below if you have read this. Like I said, hopefully you haven't watched this if you haven't read it. I guess you could have watched it if you're not interested in reading it, but you should be interested in reading it because it was awesome.
Well, even though we spoiled it and said that Donatella dies and Scarlett wins the thing, there's so much more.
Yeah.
That, I mean, yeah, we gave away the ending, but
Yeah.
there's so much buildup that halfway through reading it, you will have forgotten that
For sure.
that had worked.
Yeah. I don't know. We really, really, really enjoyed it. She's already read the second one. I'm going to be reading the second one. And we definitely are going to be reading the third one. So,
Well, the
Yeah.
second one is 5 out of 5 for me, for sure.
So we have picked out our next book for our Bestie Book Talk video. So if you want to go ahead and read that, get started reading it, and then probably in about a month or so we will have another video like this, and you can kind of participate as we are reading it, I guess. So on my, where did I find that? It was in an unboxing.
Yes.
I think it was in my book outlet unboxing that I posted a couple of weeks ago. I got a book in there, Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker, and so we are going to pick that one. Is that the one?
It's about 2 girls that go missing, and it seems really suspicious. And one girl comes back after several
sisters.
years. Yeah. And they, there's some questions about their family and like the stepdad and the stepbrother, if they're a little funky, and then the mom's got some, like no one's stories line up. So
Like maybe their family had something to do with it or
Yeah.
something, but basically 2 sisters get abducted. They go missing for years. Only one of them comes back, and they're still looking for this other one. So seems a little creepy, like going into like October type book. So
That's why I picked that one, because
Yeah.
it wasn't as scary as some of the other ones you had in that
yeah.
boxing.
So that's what we're going to be reading next. In the Night by Wendy Walker. By Wenda Walker.
This is Caraval.
Yeah, and this one, 5 out of 5 for Stephanie Garber's Caraval. And yeah, that's it. Let us know in the comments down below if you've read this one and what your thoughts were on it. Did you also give it a 5 out of 5? And did you agree with our opinions? Or maybe you hated the book? I don't know how you could have, but maybe you did. Let us know in the comments down below and let's talk about it. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, and we will, well, I'll see you in my next video, and she'll see you in the next Bestie Book Talk video. Bye! And today we are talking about Stephanie Garber's. Did I say Stephanie Garber? Okay.
Better than Garber Raider. I'm helping. We're a team.
Yay!
No.
Your tongue is orange. I have to say it to you. Don't worry, I will tell all my 100 viewers that you're constantly horny.
The editing you're gonna have to do is gonna be ridiculous.
It always is. I'm always like, what are we on? Like,
I'm sweaty. Are you sweaty?
yeah.
Camera open the patio door.
Okay. Just so sexy.
And sweaty.
And sweaty.
And dewy.
Yeah, we glow. We've just talked about sweat for like 5 minutes. Okay, so.
Back to it's spoils.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoils.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoilery.
Spoilery. Let's do it.
Yeah, whatever.
Spoilery.
It's full of spoils. Spoilery. I don't know. Once again, don't watch this if you haven't read this.
Yeah, I want to call it Carnival. Carnival? Oh.